All right, Derek Bodner of PHLY Sixers joins us along with Devon Givens and Kyle Neubeck, giving you the best coverage by far in the city or anywhere. What's up, DB?
Not much. I'm doing well.
All right. Did you get a sense that there was something going on with Embiid that maybe the Sixers weren't revealing? Are you surprised that he's not going to be ready for the opener?
Yeah, I'm a little surprised. I mean, when you found out that he wasn't doing 5-on-5 scrimmaging for training camp and up to that point in the preseason, you sort of knew it was a possibility. But yeah, I mean, this is the home opener. Like, it didn't sneak up on anyone. So unless there was some kind of a setback that would have prevented him from working out in September and now October, then yeah, it's surprising that he's not available. It is definitely, like I said, when we started learning that he wasn't doing any scrimmaging, that was extending into the preseason, then yeah, you started thinking there's a possibility. But even still, like, why? Why is he not ready? We've just never gotten a great answer.
Is the answer that the 76ers were hoping that he was going to be ready and decided that they weren't going to say anything in case he was ready, because then they don't have to deal with the obvious shrapnel of Joel Embiid's not ready to start the season and he played in the Olympics? That's the way I think it is. His knee just didn't respond well after the Olympics. I don't know if he got back out of shape or whatever happened, but the 76ers could have been transparent about this and said, you know, he's having some issues. We're going to bring him along a little slower than we thought we were going to initially. We see where he is, but they gave us nothing, and therefore doing this the day before just seems kind of unfair to the fans.
Yeah, no, I think that's probably the most generous read. But then again, if something did happen in the Olympics and he wasn't playing basketball for, let's say, 2 months afterwards, we just never heard about it, so we were never able to set any kind of expectations. And I think, you know, if like you said, if, let's say, he came out of the Olympics, I'm not even going to say something happened to the knee, but maybe the knee just wasn't feeling right. Out of, quote-unquote, an abundance of caution, they wanted him to sit and rest for a couple of, 6 weeks or whatever, and then because of that, he wasn't in game shape to start the season. I think fans, for the most part, would accept that. They wouldn't be happy because a lot of people didn't think he should be playing in the Olympics. But we are dealing with a tricky situation with the knee. Everyone understands an abundance of caution at this stage. It's just never been communicated. And because it's never been communicated, fans start filling in the details. When there's a lack of details and specificity, fans will fill it in with their worst nightmares. When you're talking about a guy with 2 surgeries on that knee, the worst nightmares are pretty freaking bad. So if that was the case, I would say that they handled this pretty poorly.
Yeah, and like maybe Embiid didn't prepare himself well after the Olympics. We don't know, but like now it's left for what exactly happened. Now we're guessing. Like you had said, Marcus Hayes writes something in the Daily News, I think yesterday, maybe it's today, or the Inquirer, saying like, Embiid got out of shape. He got fat after the Olympics. And unless that's actually what happened with Embiid, that's really unfair. Because like Derek, like you had said, I don't think we may not be happy about it. And I respect Joel playing in the Olympics. Like, if he's not ready to start the season, like, he's not ready to start the season. He played in the Olympics. I respect that. But if it would have been, hey, it's a long season, we need him healthy in the playoffs, we don't need him rushing if he's not 100% ready. We've come to expect this with Joel Embiid. Is anybody expecting some magic elixir where he's not going to be? They're going to manage his knee for the rest of his career. They're going to manage his body for the rest of the career. Again, the 76ers and their weird lack of communication bites them in the butt again. It's very frustrating.
It's 100. And speaking as a reporter who covers his team and is, paid to talk about it and try to make guesses on his availability, it's equally frustrating for sure. And look, fans, I do feel bad for fans. Like, fans paying top dollar for opening night. And look, there's Paul George. You can't do anything about it, right?
Nothing.
He planted, things didn't go right, got a bone bruise. Can't do anything about that. Just be honest about Joel Embiid. And like I said, I think your read is probably maybe the most, it's the one you have to jump to the least amount of conclusions to make, but then just set expectations early on and most of this controversy goes away.
Andre Drummond now looks like a big signing. And, it should have looked like a big signing even before we knew this. But still, so now you at least start the season, and you're like, all right, we have somebody capable in there with Andre Drummond. How do you expect him coming out of the gate? And how many games is Embiid missing here? When will we see Paul George and Joel Embiid? Best guess.
Oh, buddy, 36 hours ago, I was predicting he would play on opening night. So I do not feel qualified to guess how long he's going to be out. There's one thing I've learned: don't try to guess that. Hopefully it's just a couple days, a week, but who knows? Who knows? I still think, depending on the Paul George news, if he comes back, he only misses maybe, let's say, opening night or maybe the first 2 games. I think the Sixers can be pretty competitive. I think, Maxey and Paul George along with Drummond there anchoring the center, I think they can win some games while Embiid's out. I think it's one of the reasons that you can convince Joel to maybe take his health seriously, where in the past he was prioritizing playing, because in the past, whenever he didn't play, they had no chance of winning. Now they do. So I think they have a chance. I think Drummond is going to be key. I am a little bit worried about the third string center. They've been playing Gershon Yabusele there mostly in the preseason because Adembona, who they drafted or signed after the draft, is not ready. You understand that Gershon is very undersized and has not played in the NBA, obviously, since 2019. So there is a lot of uncertainty there. But no, I think Drummond's going to be real good for him.
You look at this rotation this year, and once you get past, and again, this is like part of this is the 76ers problem, but once you get past the whole Embiid stuff, I like this roster. They have some real pieces for the rotation for Nick Nurse to use. Caleb Martin, maybe he's not being talked about enough, or it's a little bit of an under the radar signing for the 76ers. I think really what this team needed, other than obviously you need more skill everywhere, but a certain toughness to the team that maybe we've missed a little bit in the past. Martin, Oubre, Embiid, George, and Maxey. How does the starting five match up with some of these other teams that Embiid has had? Is this the best starting five that you've seen in a while?
Yeah, I think the only other case would be the 2018-19 team, but they played with, Butler and JJ and Tobias and obviously Ben Simmons. A lot of those names don't look quite so good in retrospect, but at the time they were pretty good basketball players. The problem with that group is they had almost no time to gel. They acquired Tobias in February, they acquired Jimmy a couple months before that. It seemed like, they had some pieces that it was a little tough to fit around each other, specifically the Ben Simmons and Jimmy Butler fit. I think this team is certainly competitive with that in terms of sheer end talent, but the pieces just fit so much better. Maxey is a tailor-made fit alongside of Joel Embiid, and Paul George is almost a perfect option as a very high-usage three-point shooter who can shoot off the dribble, off the catch, off of movement. I think he just fits almost perfectly alongside your two stars. And the role players are, they have really good depth. They have more perimeter defense right now than they have had probably within the Joel Embiid era. I think that could make them a smothering defense. It could be a top 3 defense in the league, but the if is always going to apply if their players actually play together. And we know Joel Embiid going to be very cautious on back-to-backs. There's been reports that Paul George, they will be cautious with him too. So how many games do these three actually play together? We don't know. But I think they should be one of the most dominant three-man groups in the league, and I think they have role players that actually make sense around them.
And I feel like I would answer my question by saying you just don't know with Joel Embiid, but would we be buying like 76er stock right now? Are you buying, or just kind of hold because of the Joel Embiid factor? Because I feel like the 76ers are being underrated or kind of flying under the radar a little bit heading into the season.
Yeah, it's real tough because you can look at it two ways. It's either upside or it's probability. The upside is enormous. Like, they could certainly, I think, end up being the second best team in the East. When you get in the playoffs, you have even 2 years ago, it was obviously the ending nobody wanted, but they were up 3-2 with a chance to win it in 6 against Boston. They would have a chance in a playoff series against pretty much anyone. The probability of all that, because there's a lot of ifs that you have to go through in order to get to that phase. There's just a lot of things that would have to go right. And it's not impossible. Like I said, I think maybe the fact that they can be more cautious with Embiid because they have confidence that they can win games without him will help. I think, obviously, Tyrese Maxey you believe in a lot, but there's just a lot of things that have to go right. So, yeah, I think the stock probably depends on how you're viewing it. I do think the upside is there, but the probability is hugely in doubt.
It sure is, man. Derek Bodner, tonight you have a pregame. Are you guys going to be down? Anybody going to be down at the Wells Fargo Center? Kyle down there reporting. You go pregame, you go postgame. What's the setup tonight?
Kyle and I will be down there at the arena, and then Devon and Rich will be doing the pre and postgame. So we will have covered from all angles.
That is awesome. All right, PHLY 76ers. Obviously, you've probably checked it out, but if you haven't, these guys are amazing. Pre-post, the regular shows during the week. Check them out. Derek, thanks, man. We'll be talking a lot. Appreciate it.
Yep, thank you.
We all silly like the mayor.